Okay. Is the mic working now? I hate doing streams at this hour because no one is around and I cannot ask people if shit is working. Give me a second. Okay, I just listen to myself. Hopefully, um, I, I, it felt for me as if it was good enough. So I'm just going to assume it is. Today's stream is going to be extremely short. I'm just going to give you guys an update. I'm not going to be like trying to explain what is going on all fronts. But I want to say something. A lot of people are obviously curious as to where is the development going right now, and since we have been keeping people in the dark, the reason why we've been keeping people in the dark is only to create expectation. In 2023, in general, not just after Fleeting Iris was finished, but in 2023, since Fleeting Iris was finished, and shortly after that, obviously we had more time to focus on other things. Like the Shota patch was obviously important. It was the next thing on the table to be worked on and to finish and whatnot. But while the Shota patch was important, it was like the scope of it wasn't as big as usually Fleeting Iris is, and that gave us time to work on a lot of other stuff. Finding a new team, trying to scout people, scout talent, was one of the things that we were investing time in order to be able to improve the quality of our team, to have more people working. Because, like we said in the past, I'm honestly not making money out of Fleeting Iris. If any, I was actually losing money out of Fleeting Iris. And then when we sold the game on Steam, we made some money. And instead of spending money, again, my hard-earned money, what I did was invest in the team and invest in future team members. And with that, we were able to hire 2 animators. We were able to hire another. We were able to hire another artist, and yeah, we're still hiring people. We were able to hire a new scripter for JavaScript and whatnot. But what happened when Fleeting Iris ended was we started to expand, and obviously it's pretty new to me having to deal with these many people and still having to do my job, which is the job of like 20 different people. And I guess I can talk a little bit about that earlier down the development stream. But the thing is, when we start working on Fleeting Iris, like the actual main game Fleeting Iris, we start focusing on other things, like getting a team for future games and working on future games. Now, what happens here is Shota patch is not something that has to be like constantly. We don't need to be constantly explaining what we are doing along the way, because it's more kind of like a DLC. And while we did spoil a little bit, and we posted previews about the Shota patch in our Discord and whatnot, that's not something that we wanted to do with Journey Raw. That's not something we want to do with Bloodlust, because of it. And this is it's just an opinion. It's just there's a lot of good developers that personally I respect most of the times, but there's a lot of good developers that always had the mentality: if you're going to work on a game, if you spoil it too soon, you'll probably either generate way too much hype and people are going to get impatient, or you might spoil people too much, and by the time they get the game, they're going to be they're going to create like unrealistic expectations, and by the time they get the game, they're going to be disappointed. Um, in general, I'm the type of person that agrees that people, grown-ups, are supposed to be able to decide what they should do or not. But there's a good case for people will spoil themselves and then regret it. And some of the companies that actually wrote a little bit on the subject, and I wrote about it a long time ago, was companies like Rockstar, companies like the developer of Grand Theft Auto, for those that aren't aware, Square Enix. When it comes to Final Fantasy VII, they basically keep it under wraps until the game is like until the game is already being worked on a lot, and they already have more or less like a release date to give you, or something along those lines. I guess the same holds true for companies like Namco and Tekken 7 and Arada, because of some of the drama that I see on Twitter. But the thing is, great developers defend that you should not spoil the game too soon. I am not. I'm not like that. I don't care about that. I feel like people should make a decision in general. The only reason why we're keeping everything in the reps now, it's because it's the first patch. If people want to create high expectations, or if people want to, open up to being disappointed after the first patch is out, I'm fine with that. Okay, once the first patch is out, we're gonna start spoiling again people on Discord in the previews, like we've been doing and whatnot. And then whoever wants to see it sees it, and whoever doesn't want to see it doesn't see it. And now people are also going to might get animations, depending on if they're supporting us on Patreon or not. I'm still deciding if we should spoil those or not. If we should just spoil the scenes or spoil the animations as well. But that is kind of irrelevant. The point here is, the reason why we have been in so much secrecy and whatnot, and a lot of people obviously are going to attribute that to they're being lazy, even though we proved for 8+ years that we always deliver and we always try to improve, and especially now that we have improved so much and we have so many cool stuff to show. I even want to keep it more under wraps, because I want people to actually be surprised and fascinated. Obviously, some people have already been spoiled a little bit, especially people in the VIP areas, or some of the people that we invited to like a personal lounge that we have. But in general, we just want to keep most of the stuff under wraps, and we want people to get a little bit of a shock effect when they play the game and when they see the improvements we have done. In all our fronts. I want people to play the Shota patch with the animations and the changes that I made. Even people that already played the Shota patch, I feel like they're going to get a huge blast from playing the game again. And people that have seen a little bit of the Christmas patch, and that I have purposely put under wraps. Same thing with Journey Abroad. I used to be at least on the Journey Abroad Patreon and Subscribestar, I used to be spoiling the scenes there, and at some point I was like, okay, this is enough of a teaser. At this point, we are going to start locking everything down and just not spoil people anymore. I think people got enough previews at this point. Like, if people know us, cool. If people don't know us and they don't know our stuff usually works around here, it is what it is. I've been incredibly tired. I've been working way past the amount of hours that the doctor actually been recommending for me to work on and be on the computer to begin with. But it's fulfilling, and at least I feel like I'm getting somewhere other than just the 4 or 5 hours that I was being allowed to work on. It always felt like I barely had time for anything, because I'll go on Twitter, talk to an animator, go on Discord, talk to another animator, talk to the CG team, talk to the other CG team, go back and fix a bug that someone spotted. By the time that's done, I'm left with like 1 or 2 hours to work on the game. And 1 or 2 hours to work on a game like as big as our games usually are, it's like oh no, I'm done. And then yay, well, tomorrow I get another whole 5 hours to work on the game. So now I've been kind of ignoring what the doctor said, at least on this final push. I just hope that it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. I keep telling myself that in the future I will go back to working only the recommended amount of time. We'll see about that. But the point is, the only reason why I've been keeping most of the stuff in secrecy is because we really want people to be shocked, and we want people to have like be pleasantly surprised with what we want to release. The Christmas patch is entirely animated. The initial idea that we had for it, which was pretty much just everybody gets together in IM's house, that one completely been scrapped. We came up with a much better idea. Not wanting to spoil it, I feel like it's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more entertaining. It's actually going to have plot, unlike what it had last time, which was pretty much just everyone gets drunk and has sex. So yeah, when people are asking like what's going on, why haven't they been saying anything, why haven't they been posting previews like they usually do, my friend, it takes me 10 seconds to post a preview. It takes me 10 seconds. We are not being lazy to the point of we don't want to post a picture. That's ridiculous. Like, people know how hard we've been working for the past 8 years. People think that suddenly we got lazy and we are like way too lazy to post like a preview. No, that's obviously not what's happening here. We are, on purpose not sharing anything. We want people to be surprised, at least for this period. We want people to be surprised with the final Shoto patch release. We want people to be surprised with the Christmas release. We want people to be surprised with the first Journey Abroad release, and we want people to be surprised with the first Bloodlust release. After that, we're gonna go back to the way we used to do things. We're gonna post reviews, and we're going to go with the system that we originally intended, which was releasing a patch for each game every other month. So alternate between Journey Abroad and Bloodlust, and that's the goal. But yeah, we are keeping things in secrecy because we just want to create a wow effect. We just want to create a shock effect. That's all there is to it. I mean, if people talk to us in Discord, no, in a nice way, not like some people talk, which causes me having to ban them because some people act like assholes every time they open their mouths, or they feel like they are entitled to talk to people whatever the fuck way they want. So obviously that's not a thing. And at the first time I'm probably gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna answer, maybe I'm gonna be like snide or something, and the second time I'm probably gonna give him a warning, and the third time I'm just gonna like I won't even bother replying. I'm just gonna ban people. And if you can act like a civilized person, you shouldn't be near civilization. You shouldn't be near other people. And yeah, but other than that, when people try to have like a genuine conversation or ask questions or whatever it is, we're always there. Like, when I say we, like, most of the times it's Ariane, because Ariane is clearly the type of person that pays attention to almost everything that I write, instead of like skimming through information or whatever and then asking the question that has been answered like 10 seconds ago. It's funny how Ariane gives the this is kind of crazy. It's funny how Ariane answers to people on Discord often, and he just knows stuff. He just gives you answers, right? But it honestly, from my perspective, it almost feels like he asked me the answer, because he usually gives an answer, and the answer is exactly how it is. He basically knows what he's talking about. So most of the time, it's just me like just pointing up, putting the pointing up emoji where you're just pointing up to what the other person said, or just leaving a reaction to his post that says, "Yeah, this," to be honest. Because it's honestly, it's like that. Usually I try to give people a reply, but most of the times Ariane is around, and he gives people like answers, which is, it sounds like I said it. Like, last question was something like, So, will Fleeting Guys be remade? If yes, where can I see the backlog of updates? I kind of replied to this, but Ariane said, still it will be a long time before both of those projects will come out. Other games are a priority right now, unless stuff happens. Yes, that's exactly true. Is there going to be another scene in the pub together with her crew? And that's, yes, you mean pub Mr. Strout? And did the guy, yeah, I hope no Melvin Rout, never again. So I hope, I think he said, I hope Melvin comes back, or I hope it's not the last time we saw Melvin. And he said, like I mentioned above, Fleeting Guys is the complete project for now, so no new scenes in the future. This is true. There was incentives for an extended Melvin route. There was no money. Fleeting Guys is now put on the side, and we're gonna focus on other projects. Like usually, like it hasn't happened a single time that Arian replies to someone and he's wrong about it. At least that I remember. He just replies to people and it sounds like I told him what to answer. That's, and when it's not him being helpful, I usually try to read what people say and give people, if people start assuming things and people start talking shit, when it's so easy to just go on Discord, ask us whatever the fuck is going on. So in general, we just want to tell people we're alive, we're well, and we're working really hard. And not only we're working really hard, we now have more people working hard. So yeah, the plan now is, I think I already spoiled this, so I'm gonna do it again, but whatever. The plan right now is to release the Shota patch and the Christmas patch, and the Shota patch will be the Christmas patch will be fully animated, and the Christmas patch should have like 5 animations. I don't know why the fuck I did it. I just went like ask people what were their favorite scenes on multiple places, and I just decided to spend money on what was a free project. Shota patch was finished. All I had to do was grab the fucking text from the test server, put it on the regular server, test it, and ship it, and that will take me like 3-4 days to do it. And I was like, nah, I can do better. And that's the problem with anything that I don't finish. That's why we're probably doing a Fleeting Guys remaster. But honestly, I feel like the changes that we are making the Shota patch, and by the time we are finished, which we are almost finished, we just need to get the animations. It's the first time that I feel 100% happy with the project that I've released. The Shota patch, the way it is right now, I look at it and I was like, okay, can we do better? Yeah, maybe there's a thing or two that we can do better here and there, but in general, I'm incredibly happy with the outcome. So, and that's what we want to do in terms of everything else in the future. That's what we want to do in the show, in the Christmas patch. We want to make sure that when we release it, we look at it and we're like, okay, that was it. We're happy with this, and it leaves room for, we can expand on this in the future if people want to see another Christmas patch, and if we want to introduce new characters, or if we want to make this like have a sequel or follow up or whatever. This time, hopefully in time for season, because we're going to have a Christmas patch in September. But yeah, we hopefully are going to have that in December the next time we do it. If we do it, it's going to depend probably from the public, on the public opinion. Now that I got that out of the way, which was like F off the podcast, obviously. I said obviously, which in my mind was going to be F of the podcast. I said that I was going to take like 30 to 45 minutes. So yeah, this is more or less what I wanted to talk about. I also just want to take this time to appreciate Zelmate, Ariane, and Serrano in chat. I just realized you guys are talking to me. So yeah, it's nice seeing you guys here. I wasn't expecting to get any people actually listening to the podcast this early. I just needed to get this out of the way. But yeah, regarding the progress, guys, we are just not, the too long didn't read. The only reason why people are not been getting stuffing, it's not because we're being lazy or we are not working on stuff. It's just that we're doing so much amazing stuff that we want people to see it for the first time in game, and not just see a picture, get hyped, or get like ridiculous expectations, get disappointed. We want people to experience everything in a first-hand experience, and that's why we haven't been releasing anything on Discord and whatnot. It's just a designer choice. It's just a developer choice. And We appreciate if people could respect that. I know that there's people that are like, well, if you're not posting previews, that means you're being lazy, so you're not working on stuff. Listen, if that's what you think, you go ahead and unsubscribe, and wherever it is that you feel like it's it's your prerogative. And for everyone else that realizes that and knows that we are working on the games, very soon you're going to have the actual games instead of us just releasing pictures and spoiling people with animations. We'd rather not. I can guarantee you that almost everyone that has been able to see the animations, all the details and whatnot, people have been giving us positive feedback. So you'll just have to wait to be able to see what other people are seeing right now. So that's gonna be it. Also, we're probably gonna need beta testers for the Shota patch starting, let's say, halfway next week. It should be finished. I just want people to point out if they see bugs or like huge typos or just stuff that doesn't make sense and should be fixed before the final version. Because after that, we're just gonna put it on our website and hopefully never touch it again. So there's that. Now, for the other reason why I did a podcast, I haven't done a development podcast in a while, and I've always wanted to get back at it. I just didn't know where to start or where to go, so I was like, listen, when people have questions for me, and I gather a lot of those questions, I'm probably just gonna do a podcast then. But yeah, Morgan, I don't know if I should probably tell what we've been talking in private, but I don't think like this is too personal, so I'm gonna say it anyway. Morgan asked me. He has been playing a little bit on RPG Maker, whatever it is. We talked about it in the past, but he said, and I obviously it's not something that I focus when explaining. I usually try to explain stuff on a more mechanical way instead of like a thought process. But he said, your first video gave me an idea on more or less how to start. However, there is one thing I didn't fully understand on how to progress. It's the fact that you need to write down pretty much the whole game before starting, which is something I did say way back then. Not sure of even how to begin or how to keep writing down the ideas. And I know it can be a lot to ask, but by any chance, are you willing to share how did you manage to write your ideas down for, let's say, the Shota patch or something from the main game of Fleeting Ares? Okay, I'm gonna try and resume what got me into making the game Fleeting Ares, why I made the decisions that I made, why I'm gonna work on the other games, and essentially the Shota patch. And I'm gonna try to be a short, concise, and as much as I can be. I used to edit other games. When I started editing other people's games and I already had a computer background, I felt I can do this. At the time, I was starting to get a big fan of RPG Maker and Thai games, and I thought I could make my own. When that happened, my first idea was to make a steampunk RPG game. And that was a terrible idea. So I got a little bit into the NTR genre. Maybe for the wrong reasons. And I say the wrong reasons because when I started playing on NTR, when I started seeing NTR games, I did one of the biggest mistakes that you can do as a human, which is not considering things, not taking other people's perspectives into account. The way I saw NTR was mostly for the forbidden aspect of the thing, right? I never figured out at the time that there could be people that will identify as the cucks, and people that will like to feel jealous, or other people that will just like to see their woman feel pleasure, or other people that like to identify as the guy that does the girlfriend stealing, whatever. To me, NTR was far less complex than that. So I just wanted to make a game that was focused on corruption, and NTR felt like the way to go. I just want to make a story. NTR is the way to go. Now, Morgan is saying that he has no idea of like how to write the ideas. My problem was I have way too many ideas. I played way too many games, saw TV shows and whatever, or in like games that are not anti, that gave me ideas for anti games. And I was like, okay, what if I grab all my favorite genres, break it down between games, and then once in a conversation with, at the time, a guy that I knew from the forum, but now he's a very well known admin on our Discord, Platinus, a guy that I've known for 8, 9 years, 10 years maybe. I was like, listen, I have this idea. What do you think of this? I'm gonna grab all my favorite base of games. So there's this game that I have an idea, which is like a corruption NTR, right? And then I also want to work on a game that is like, imagine 21 Jump Street, right? But obviously the main characters are females, so there's a lot of sex and stuff happening in there. And imagine like a zombie game where you have to like find different communities. You can like get on different bases. Different bases have like certain perks. You can keep people in your group that are nice, but if you keep bad people in your group, you can also be submitted to like some sexual experience and whatnot. Imagine like a full apocalypse experience where it kind of plays, imagine something like This War of Mine, but instead of just like humans being trashed because of war, imagine if there's zombies in the mix and you have to do like base management and you have to be careful you let in your communities and whatnot. And then I also wanted to make a game where you like corrupt an entire village. So basically I have these ideas, and the games will all happen more or less at the same time, except the last one, which will be like a consequence of the first 3 games. And at the same time they are all like connected, and all the female main characters look different, so that everyone can get a little bit of like, oh, I like the blonde chick, I like the chick with with flat chest, I like the chick with the big chest, I like the chick with the big butt. And all the ideas were like looming and getting connected and whatnot. And he said, yeah, that feels like awfully ambitious, but sure. And obviously when I pitched the idea to most forums at the time, ULMF, people told me I was fucking insane. Now, I don't want to tell them that they were wrong, because they weren't. That is still up to debate. But the fact that I was, I'm a very hardworking person, and I had a dream, and the base of the game was that. Like, I still don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with the third game. I have nightmares thinking, what is gonna be the gameplay of the third game? I still have no fucking idea. I just know that I have a story that I want to tell. I don't want to spoil it, but all the games have a story. Like, this happens for a reason, and the end game is this. So when I tell you that you have to write a story, it doesn't mean that you have to write all the scenes, all the stuff that happens and whatever. You just need to know what is the plot of the game. What is the main plot of the game? That's the one thing that you need for starters. You can even watch a movie and you're like, you know what, I can convert this to anti. And that happens to me all the time. That happened to me as a writer when writing my book. That happens to me when I was writing rap lyrics when I was a kid or whatever. Basically, you just grab something where you can draw every idea or any idea that you come up with, and then you put it all together. You just, it's little notes here and there. When it came to anti, I had like the main plot. Like, this is the character. She has these antagonists. These guys, each of these antagonists is an antagonist for a reason. So we have the fat ugly bastard. We have the family guy. We have which was the original idea, which was like Melvin. It was like the swingers, because I was like, yay, swingers in NTR is super cool, and at the time that was a thing. So it was definitely influences from like reading other mangas, playing other games, watching movies, regular movies, where you feel like, oh man, this could totally be like an entire game, or this could totally be like the focus for a scene. You just need like a general idea. Where does the game start? What are the characters? Why are they in the game? Why are they important in the game? How does it end? Obviously, it ends with, Robert Sart being crushed most of the times, and that's going to be it. But I was like, you know what? What if I go the wholesome path and let the player decide? What if Robert can be the hero in the end? What if they flip the script and whatever? And initially, like, some of the characters kind of wrote themselves. Like Melvin wrote himself. Sato kind of wrote himself, even though I kind of regretted it later down the road. I was like, I don't think Sato adds that much to the game. I feel like most of the stuff that happened with Sato could have happened with Melvin. And later down the road, I started liking Sato again because Melvin started getting a little more wholesome, where he actually likes Ayame, and Sato actually always acts like a fucking douchebag. So you kind of see like a redeemed story on Melvin's side, and Sato has no redemption, so to speak. So they're like two different type of blackmail. Melvin initially starts some sort of blackmail, but it kind of goes more into he starts liking her, so it's more like an emotional blackmail. And when Sato does it, it's more like a threatening blackmail. Melvin tries to appeal to her heart, while Sato kind of gives her like ultimatums, like either you do this or else. So in the end, I feel like they played the parts like two different evil guys or two different stories. They are very similar, but at the end of the day, one story has a little bit more redemption, and the one character kind of grows on you, while the other character is a douchebag all the way in. So yeah, when it came to like the ideas, I just had like a general idea, and then I went with the tropes. Like, what do I find hot? What if the character goes to the movies with the husband and someone is there? What if the character does this? And then I just write the ideas, and then I try to split so all the routes have like some similar scenes. Okay, so what if they are doing this in the kitchen? What if and the guy is in the other side of the counter? Even when writing the maps, even when drawing the maps, I made some map decisions literally based on this will look hotter if there's a scene here. And the reason why Ayame as some sort of like open window in the kitchen was because I had already planned at that time there was going to be a scene there. So the whole map of Fleeting Ares, a lot of it as already it was done the way it was done already to be able to harbor some specific scenes or some specific fetishes and whatnot. So basically, at the end of the day, when you are developing, unless you're looking like profit, which I feel like it's a very shitty way to do anything in life. You should do something that you love. So obviously do a game that you love. So find out what you love, even if it's a niche, and then focus on what you want to see in the game. As a developer, write a general idea of a story, which is what I did, and then I actually took a lot of advice from people that were following our game. There's a lot of scenes, characters, routes that have been flipped the script and whatever, because someone in the community, or more than one people in the community, maybe a group of people, maybe people voted, decided that they wanted to see a character more times. They decided that what will be hot if there was a scene with this and this. And I looked at the idea and I was, that will be hot. Or even sometimes, even debating ideas, I came up with idea A and you come up with idea B, and after debating idea A and B together, we mash and boom, we get idea C. So you just need a general idea. Like, if you don't even have that, I have to question your capability as a developer. Like, if you don't know where your game starts and where your game ends, and then you just have to write what happens between A and B, or A and Z, if you want to call it like that. You just need to figure out why is your game happening, where is the starting point, where is the ending point, and then think about the antagonists. Why are these antagonists in the game? You know, when it came to the Shota patch, I knew I wanted to have like a Shota character. Initially, it was going to be just one kid, but a long time ago, I actually read an hentai where there were like two evil twins that would antagonize the main character. Except when I saw that, I was like, what if one of them is good and one of them is bad, and they actually rub a character like in like different ways. Obviously, I wanted to have more time to work on the Shota patch. Like 30 days is very short to actually do a lot of the ideas that I wanted to implement. But I was like, listen, what can we do realistically in like 30 gameplay days? And obviously we have to go down the road of like certain tropes, because IM is just not gonna out of nowhere fall in love with one of the twins. Obviously that's gonna take a lot of time. It's not gonna be like 1 or 2 weeks that's gonna do all that. We were on a hurry there. And obviously I feel like Noel didn't play as much into the story as I wanted him to do. So the game kind of goes like half the way it goes Noel, and then the other half the way it goes Leon. But the ideas in general, most of the ideas, it was just like watching movies, watching this. I can even tell you a little anecdote. In when I was playing Persona 5 the first time, this was many years ago, like 2017 or something like that. There's a route where you have to help your friend or girlfriend at the time, I don't remember, but you have to help your friend. She has a friend, a female friend, and she's dating a guy, and the guy is an asshole. He basically is like a gangster, and I think like he extorts her for money or whatever, because I feel like she's rich. And then the friend of your girlfriend, let's call her like Bimbo, let's call the other guy the Tug, let's call the chick is tricking, let's call her the Bimbo, let's call the girlfriend, and let's call you the MC. Okay, just to give you an idea. So basically the girlfriend wants you to go and meet up with the Bimbo and their new boyfriend, the Tug, because she wants to see if the Tug's intentions towards the Bimbo are correct. He tries to act like all lovey-dovey, but as soon as she leaves the room, he completely ignores the fact that you, the MCR, is there, and he starts hitting on the girlfriend. And the girlfriend's like, "Excuse me, blah blah blah, you can do that, whatever." And then at some point he hints out, "If you take her place or whatever, I will stop bothering the Bimbo." Obviously, since it's Persona, none of that happens. She never takes his place, whatever. But the thing is, there's a lot of manga out there. There's a lot of doujins and whatever, where that's the idea. Like, if you take her place, and I thought the idea was kind of interesting, and I was like, you know what, I can completely turn this idea into a scene, and it's basically that, like seeing two twins swap places. So I read a manga where basically there's two twins. The guy falls in love with the next door neighbor, and the next door neighbor has a sister. And when the sister comes in town, she starts dating the guy. And then one time, out of jealousy, the next door neighbor pretends to be her sister and has sex with the dude, but the dude actually knows she's not the sister. Whatever it is. And at the time, I was like, you know what? This gives me an idea. What if Ayame and Fujiko, during a certain point in the game, swap places, and that's where the whole Ganguro Ayame idea showed up. And the idea is such a basic but works trope that not long ago a new manga came out that the trope was pretty much the same. The evil sister, so to speak, threatens the evil sisters to switch places with her for like a week. And you know, basically they end up swapping places, and the other sister realizes that the evil sister is kind of like the good sister was never a good sister. She was kind of slut in school and whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, this manga came out, and it's pretty much the same idea as the whole Ganguro Ayame idea, where the what was out to me on that scenario was, and this is important because as a developer, it's going to be like, what do you find hot? And what I find hot about that was she can actually have sex in front of Robert while pretending to be her sister, right? And at the end, when Fujiko reveals to Robert that yes, he's having sex with Fujiko and not Ayame, I was like, oh man, that's kind of hot. The fact that Ayame can have can cheat on Robert right in front of him without him realizing that that's Ayame, and she can like send him like a look, and it can look like awkward. It kind of looks like for a second it almost feels like he knows it's Ayame, but at in the other second he's like, nah, there's no way, And then he starts getting a little anxious because Fujiko, wink wink, actually looks like Ayame a little bit, so he gets a little flustered. It's just from watching movies or manga, you can adapt ideas from just that. Obviously, the fact that Ayame had a twin sister opened up a lot of fun scenarios, and in the same way, Leon and Noel being able to trade places, and Leon being able to pretend he was Noel and whatnot, also opened up to what I thought was like a hot scenario. At the end of the day, it was like, okay, what will be hot in these scenes? So let's transition from this. The scenes that I was like, okay, now I'm finally cooking, is when Leon started having sex with Ayame, and then the father shows up, and they are like below the sheets, the one downstairs near the fridge. Some of the scenes, if I could do the game again, the scene with the yukata, and the scene in the scene where Ayame is like suntanning and whatever, I feel like those scenes are underwhelming comparing to other scenes in the game. I feel like the game as a whole is good, but personally as a developer, I like to make sure that every scene that is in the game is there for a reason, because it fulfills a certain fetish, or the scenario is really good, or whatever it is. I don't like to waste ink, so to speak. I don't want to make a scene that is there just for the sake of being there. So there's a lot of reasons for you to make a scene, because you like a scenario, because you're trying to cover a fetish, because you want her to be dressing in a certain way, or you want her to have sex with a certain character, because you want to use a certain place, sex in a pool, because you want to use sex in a sauna. There's many reasons why you can write a scene. And obviously not all of them are going to forward the plot. But there's just so many places to get ideas from. And what I'm going to obviously suggest, I think I told you this, but again, I used to do it when I was writing lyrics. I used to do it when I was writing my book, and I'm doing that as I do this. Is every time I have an idea, I write down. And once you start, I think I don't know if I said this in a podcast ever, but I feel like once you become a certain type of person, you're that person 24/7, right? So when I was younger and I used to be kind of a thug, I was a thug 24/7. I was a thug when people looked at me in the bus. I was a thug when my teachers talked to me a certain way. Whatever it was, I was a thug 24/7. If you act thug 24/7, you're gonna be a thug 24/7. Some shit you don't turn off. Like if you're a player and you cheat on a woman, you're gonna cheat on a woman 24/7. You're always a player. Like you're in bed, you're thinking about sex. You're in the street, you're thinking about sex. You're in the job, you're thinking about sex. Everywhere you are, if all you do is trying to get on women's panties, that's what you're gonna do 24/7. And being an anti-game developer is definitely one of those things. It's gonna get to a point where you are going to it's gonna come like a second nature. You are going to unconsciously see anti everywhere. You're gonna get like a perverted mind, to the point where any sort of conversation, any sort of movie you see, anything, you're going to see hentai potential in it. Any scene that has a little bit of sexual connotation, any scene that has innuendos, whatever it is. Sometimes in the most innocuous stuff, you're going to be able to see hentai in it. Like, oh man, it would be hot if he did this. And then you're like, oh, what if I put the character in the same idea, in the same scenario in the game? It's almost impossible not to draw, sometimes it might be from your own personal experiences, but most of the time it's going to be like your brain just drifting, like wishful thinking. You're talking with a girl, oh man, if we did this and that in real life. And then you also have to filter, like, you have to filter the garbage out. So the one reason, the reason why I tell you, just write the game in advance. Try to write most of the scenes in advance, because if I go outside and I meet someone and I see a certain thing, or I see a certain manga and I have an idea, right now I can have like horny brain. Horny brain is good and bad. The reason why horny brain is good is you're working on horny games. You're working on sex games. So having a brain that is channeled to having sexual ideas or feel aroused from stuff and get ideas from stuff, obviously is good. The problem is, horny brains are fucking dumb. You don't think with your dicks. You actually need your blood in other places for you to be, processing information positively. And even at 38 years old, which I am right now, I still write down ideas that I think are hot at the time, and then I see the scene the next day. It might feel hot, and then a week later I look at this and I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever had. Like, what? How the fuck did I think of this? And then the answer is easy. My balls were full. That's what happened. If it gets to a point where, honestly, not all of your ideas are going to be brilliant. Sometimes you're just feeling horny. I'm sorry, it's true. No one has good ideas 24/7. Some of your ideas are going to be absolute jack shit. Okay? And you just need to figure out which one of your ideas are wheat and which of them are chaff. And then you just have to let it sit a little bit. You have an idea, write it down, look at it when your balls are empty. That's the most important part, because when you're watching porn and it's hot and then you jerk off and you're like, ew, the whole situation is like kind of gross. Like, ew, oh, she's kind of weird. Like, oh, she has some people in her ass. Whatever the fuck it is, you get like completely unattracted to what the fuck is going on around you. Ideas for hentai games are exactly the same. Try to look at the idea from a clear mind and see if the idea is still good. So it's kind of like building a castle. You just need to know where it starts, where it ends. But the scenes, try to create something that everything is there for a reason. Now, where the most important part is you're questioning, where do I get my ideas? Everywhere. Games, regardless if they're hentai or not. Reading books, watching TV shows. There's sex everywhere. People do it regardless if they want it or not. The only thing that you get bombarded more heavily in life than money is sex. Almost everything in life, especially if you look around you in whatever it is, it's going to be sex, then money, then probably food, because some people can't get laid and food is the next best thing. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. People do it consciously, unconsciously. People do fan service, and almost every single thing that you do in life, almost everything that you do in life, if you are paying attention, there's potential for enticing in there. It sounds like, listen, it doesn't happen to me as much at this age. Almost all my ideas are conscious, and I just look at scenarios, and I'm very I'm very thankful that I wrote so many ideas down when I was younger. But when I was younger and I was horny all the time, I wrote so much stuff. And I wrote so much stuff that if I wrote like 1,000 ideas and I throw away 900 ideas, I still have 100 good ideas. So my advice to you is that make sure that everything you do is out and it's there for a reason. So anything can be an idea for an entire scene. Like I said, it can be a place, it can be a fetish. A place like, what if they have sex in the closet and some people are on the outside, on the other side of the closet? What if they have a wall between them? What if it's a dark alley? What if it's this? What if it's that? What places would you think it will be sexy to have sex with? In, and then in which scenarios do you think? And then you just put the characters in that scenarios. I am it to cross up some of my favorite characters, to cosplay some of my favorite characters. Is she gonna do it out of nowhere? No, that sounds kind of stupid. She can do a photo session. Okay, photo session is cool, but you know, it's kind of like, it's kind of cool, but yeah, at the same time, it's kind of like not. And then I was like, what if she goes to a cosplay convention? And if I wanted to switch characters, what if she goes to the cosplay convention another time, or another day, or another year, or whatever it is? You know, and then if you look at it, it was basically like being able to create to have the character logically cosplay is what created the whole cosplay weekend. The first idea was, I want the character to have sex in this cosplay. Everything comes from like one of those things. Either it's a fetish, or it's a place, or it's a costume, or whatever it is, the things that you find hot in sex, right? It's usually a fetish, a place, or a fetish, a place, a costume, like a piece of clothes, and the partner. The partner is also important. Ex-boyfriend, ugly bastard, someone from her family, someone that is completely wrong for her to have sex with. Basically, there are so many things that can start in enticing, and there are so many things that can set up the scenario, that as long as you know where to start, what's the plot, and where it ends, everything in between, you have all the time in the world to write. And ideas are everywhere, you know. So if you're making a game and your biggest problem is ideas, I don't know, man. It's really hard to tell you how to get ideas. Like if you feel like you're a good coder, hire someone, you know. Hire someone to write the story. If you're good at the story, hire someone to write the code. You know, maybe not everyone has great ideas for a game. Maybe people just want to make an hentai game and they are good at coding, and they're like, yeah, but I can think of a story word shit. I can write dialogues word shit. You know. And that's why I feel like it's like super easy to criticize, but the moment you start trying to make games, you know, I honestly feel that there's very few developers that can create entire games with the quality that we do. Most hentai games are trash. The vast majority of games. And then in the 10% that you can, the 5% that are good, 4% are serviceable, and 1% is a masterpiece. Either in terms of gameplay, either in terms of story, either in terms of art, drawings, whatever it is. But there's many components that make a game good. And I honestly believe that if you look at it from a more if you break it down, maybe there's games that do what we do better than we do for almost everything that we do. You know, yeah, sure, there's probably more experienced people that draw better than Muko and Tiger Lila. There's definitely people that write better than me. There's definitely people that code better than me. There's definitely people with better stories. There's definitely games with better mechanics. There's definitely people that write better music. There's, you know, but if you look at it from an holistic way, and this is just my perspective, Fleeting Hours is one of the best hentai games ever released, and we think we can improve it a lot. I don't know a single Shota game where it's kind of like VN, which holistically is as good as Fleeting RZF Shota patch. Where if you look at the sum of all the parts, story, art, dialogue, mapping, if you look at the sum of all the parts, I think we actually deliver masterpieces. I think the Fleeting Iris remake is definitely going to be one of the best VNs ever released. I think that we know the shortcomings of it and we can improve on it. So if you look at it from a holistic perspective, the game is amazing. So when you work on a game, like coming up, and this is from me, which is part of my job, but I know all the coding, all the music writing, all the art that needs to be made, and all the dialogue that needs to be done. Coming up with ideas of where the game starts and where the game ends, bro, if that's your I can't get this done, or this is my problem, you have a fucking problem. You have a real fucking problem, bro. That's the one thing. If any, I have to water it down. If any, I have to write stuff all out of the game, just so the game won't be too big. I had to cut off a lot of stuff from Fleeting Iris. Journey Abroad, I was already getting Bloodlust, I was already getting way too much stuff in the game, and Isaac pointed out, bro, are you trying to make Fleeting Iris 2? You need to cut like half of those scenes out of the game and stick to the essential. You know? So for me, coming up with ideas, it's the easy part. If that's the part where you're like stuck on, bro, I wish you best of luck, because damn, that's the part I have zero problems with. So I don't know, like, just think of what you would like to see in a game, and then since it's your game, you can make it happen. I hope that's, you know, that answer helps you. I hope that the podcast helps you as a developer. You know, sex is everywhere, but at the end of the day, I do so much for my game, from mapping to writing dialogues to writing the scenes to writing the story to basically telling everyone how I want stuff to be done, to finding the music, to coding the game, to creating assets. I do all that shit. Coming up with the ideas is the easy part. That's the easy part. Being able to get what's in your head and create and then create stuff. That's what's fucked up. You know, you're gonna need a good team. Something that I was able to create with Muku and Tiger Lyle is that I have an idea. I explain to them the idea, and usually they are able to, like, most of the time, make a visual recreation of what I've seen in my mind very accurately. So being able to have a good team is definitely like a big plus. But at the end of the day, like, where are the ideas coming from, bro? It's, why are you making an entire game then? You know, that's rough. That's rough. That's all I can say. I wish you the best of luck, but if coming up with TD ideas, bro, is the hard part, you're not gonna like what comes after. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was enough to you know, make you guys not miss me as much. Especially now that I only have Isaac on the weekends. He won't be able to participate on the podcast anymore, at least for the time being, because you guys are still not giving us a lot of money, so I can actually hire him full time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it helps. I honestly don't know, like, what else can I suggest to create entire scenes? Just use that idea, write everything, and then imagine what you want to see. Keep in mind places, people, scenarios, fetishes, costumes, and then just on that you have probably like enough scenes for an entire game. So, you know, just read a lot, watch a lot of movies, and have like an hentai mind about everything. Just, you know, how can I turn this into hentai? That's it. If it doesn't work, you know, ask me again. Ask me the problems that you might have on Discord. What part you didn't understand. I'll try to I'll try to elaborate on it a little bit. But yeah, that's it. For everyone out there trying to make a game, I wish you guys the best of luck. For everyone else trying to play our game, you're gonna get a chance to soon, very soon. You're gonna get 2 games for the price of 1. I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you guys so much. I miss you guys a lot, and we'll have a chance to talk again real soon. Much love. Stay healthy. Take care.